producer and writer of many episodes. Please welcome Paul Sims. And he's brought a friend. He plays Laszlo. Please welcome Matt Berry. He plays Colin Robinson. Please welcome Mark Proksch. You know her as the guide. Please welcome Kristen Schaal. And he is both a producer and director on the series. Please welcome Kyle Newacheck. And lastly, he could not make it here in person, but joining us via the magic of Zoom, he plays Nandor, the kind of nice guy. Please welcome Kayvan Novak. Wow, that is, yeah. Never break character. Thank you, Kayvan. So let's start out here, Paul. The final season. This is it. At what point was sort of the decision made to be the final season, and how did it change or not change what season 6 became?
Early on, we felt like we wanted to leave a little too soon rather than a little too late. But then when we thought about the final season, we realized we didn't want to take it. We just wanted to make a really funny season that was not too in the middle and trying to tie up too many threads. I mean, for the super fans like you guys, all the threads will be tied up. But it is really just one of our funniest episode by episode seasons we've done.
And then, really for all the cast, I'm curious, what was everyone's reaction hearing it was the final season, and did that change things on set knowing that, these were the final episodes? Matt, you start.
We were actually told 2 days before Christmas Day. So my reaction was, Merry Christmas. But no, I mean, we kind of knew that it was, on its way, and it's kind of the perfect time, I think. It's as good as it ever was, it's coming to the end. And that's all that you want, isn't it, really? I think.
Yep. Mark, what about you? What did you think hearing it was the end? Did it change the mood on set at all?
Not really. It didn't really change the mood too much. We all had a lot of fun on set. And I think it, like Matt and Paul said, it's a good time. You don't want to overstay your welcome, and you don't want to become a parody of yourself. And I think 6 seasons in this day and age is just well.
I think the goal is to go out with bands like this at all age and still be able to fill it out with people who love the show. You don't want to stay up so long in one of the small conference rooms where we don't like.
Sure. Yeah. You can't go bigger than Hall of H. Kristen, did it seem like this was the right timing?
Oh, absolutely not. I think that the story could have gone on and on. There's so much to explore in this world. My character definitely could have come back for a lot more episodes. But yeah, I mean, it was the first project I've ever worked on where I knew it was fitting in. Usually there's this feeling of like, see you next year. So now we practice to say exactly how we felt about each other. Colin. And I'm happy that it's ending on a high note. I think that is a smart decision, but I'm sad because there's no other show like it in the world, and I really
Kayvan, beaming in, what did you think? Did you think this was the appropriate time to say goodbye to these characters?
There is no kayfabe, only Nandor.
He's really ready to give it up.
One night
I'm
show.
not going anywhere.
I think he's going on the road. Kyle, you introduced Jerry into the mix here, and it seems like he's going to be sticking around, at least for a while. What can you say about the role that he's going to play this season? Will it continue to be what we saw there, or maybe will they be on the same page a little bit more?
Well, I mean, what happens with the fifth Beatle, it's like, you got like a great group of people, and then you introduce this new character into it, and it's going to disrupt a little bit. So I think we explore that as we go.
Can you say, Paul, a little more about, like, where did the idea for Jerry come from, and how did you end up casting Mike O'Brien?
This upcoming season you're about to see, in past seasons we've had a lot of guest stars, a lot of people, famous people who play vampires, and our goal this season was to pick the funniest people that we just loved and thought were super funny, and it's sort of like even less, and you're like, well, we never got a chance to use Michael O'Brien, we all love from Saturday Night Live, and everything he's done, and we got some great surprises coming up. With, like I said, really funny people. And the idea was just that idea you always talk about, like what happens when you have a group of people and they wander away and then they come back and you really thought you missed them, but maybe you don't miss them.
Well, Matt, there was definitely, we saw what Jerry caused for Laszlo and Nadja, and this is a character, this is a couple that's passionate in every sense of the word. So going forward this season, now they're working to finally conquer humanity. Are they going to be doing okay together as a couple throughout this, or will there be some more bumps in the road like we saw in the premiere?
No, this is the start of I would say their largest ever argument. So you'll see them not wanting to spend much time together. But it doesn't last, it's all fine. They get back and they're as horny as they ever were. Cheers, I love what that about cheers.
We support horniness here in Hall H. Mark, it feels like the show's creators really like to mess with Colin Robinson's body. So will he continue to sort of suck energy like he's never sucked before, like we saw in the premiere?
Yeah. Well, he like the show does, he goes back to normal without much explanation. And that's fine. But yeah, no, I usually, when I'm not working, I have the Paxson six-pack. But it's always a challenge to try to make me look funny without my clothes on. But they're able to do it. So, yeah, there's more humiliation for me.
I'm sorry we love it, but we do. Kristen, the guide, she's had some major insecurities she was dealing with last season about how the others saw her. It feels like now she might have a kindred spirit in Jerry, at least from her side of things. So is that, possibly maybe this could be someone who gets the guide?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she's just looking for a good, strong leader to move the vampire population in the right direction. She's found it in Jerry, and there's no way that she could be wrong.
Yeah, we know she's always right, so that's great. I wanted to ask Kayvan another question, but I guess I need to ask Nandor a question.
Yeah.
So, Nandor, there have been a lot of great will there, won't they pairings on TV, but I feel like you and Guillermo, they got it right out there. So, Guillermo, has he still just confused Nandor as far as, like, he thought this, the familiar role was a certain thing, and he can't get his mind around what he thinks of this guy?
To keep my voice up because Guillermo is in the next room. Thank you talking to his pillow. What? No, I wasn't talking about you. Shut the fuck up.
deficit here. Amazing. So, Paul, let me ask you, Guillermo's quest to be a vampire had been sort of a driving force since the beginning of the show. He kind of figured that out, and it wasn't for him last season. So what can you say about him this season, and kind of what is his next step now that he knows that's not for him?
Every time we talked about it over the 6 years of the show, we thought, what if Guillermo actually did become a vampire? We all went, well, the show would sort of be over. And then we thought, well, let's have him become a vampire, reject it, and dig ourselves out of that hole somehow. No, a lot of this upcoming season is about Guillermo trying to move past this life that he's led and be his own person and move out into the real world and get a real job of his own. And unfortunately for him, the rest of the vampires sort of followed him and helped him out because they were there. So imagine if you started a new job and like your mom and dad showed up just to make sure you were doing okay. That's what this next season is about.
So Kyle, we saw in the premiere the documentary crew kind of brought up in a notable way. And you know, with the show, there's sort of fun times where we've been reminding their existence more than others. Did it feel like in this final season, maybe it was time to open up that dynamic a little more? And might we maybe meet some of them a little more than we have in the past?
There's definitely a dynamic. It does get opened up towards the later in the season in a very meta way that was fun to make. It's a question we always ask ourselves is like, you know, what does the documentary know? How much do we know about them and whatnot? I will say that I did get to play a director in the show at a certain point while I was directing the show, which was the most meta thing I've ever been a part of. And it was a blast, an absolute blast. So stay tuned, y'all. It's going to get wild and weird.
For any of the cast, I'm curious. The documentary thing. It gives you a fun format. It's a way to have the sort of testimonial interviews to camera. But is it interesting for you guys when you sort of have to think about it a little more? Because on most episodes you're not, but suddenly remember, oh yeah, these characters are having their lives filmed. Is that strange for you to kind of take a step back when that happens? Mark.
Not really. I mean, coming from The Office, that was my first role, and so I feel like that was. I've mostly filmed documentaries in my career, and so it just feels natural to me having them be around, and we actually highlight the idea that it's a documentary this year in a really interesting and fun way. It just caters to comedy so much better.
Nandor, how do you feel about being part of a documentary?
I'm part of a documentary.
We're going to go to audience questions in a couple minutes and leave it around that thereabouts. That is an intense close-up. It's the final season, so Paul, I gotta ask the Jackie Daytona question. I think it's super commendable to not like, every other episode he's going to become Jackie Daytona. They loved it, we're going to do it all the time. But it's the final season, so, I guess.
I said we would never do it again after the first time.
Sure.
But who knows what might happen.
I'll start with you, Matt, on this question because we're kind of bouncing off it, but it is for everyone. Do you know when you're filming an episode, like, you guys know it's a funny show, but like, this might pop. This might be something odd that will resonate with the audience.
Absolutely not, no. It's all about getting it done, making sure everybody got their bit that they liked, you got your bit, and then moving on. The main force of making any TV, to be honest, is moving on. and on to the next thing. If you've done it and it's worked, you don't sit there and, sort of one another. You just get on to the next thing.
That's why Comic-Con is so fun, because it's the only chance we get to actually see it with an audience and hear people laughing and where they respond to it. Because it is such a hurry, we're just always shooting and moving, and we have no idea until you go on the internet and see who's loved Jackie Daytona and done their own fan art, and when it's Halloween and who's in what costume, which is the most exciting thing ever.
Especially if it's like freezing cold, you just want to get it.
Yeah. Toronto will do that, yes. I've been there. Kristen, Mark, is there times when you film something and you're like sort of shocked when it becomes like a quotable moment, like you never thought like that people were gonna like pop with that the way they have with the audience?
I mean, I never think any of this stuff. I'm pretty forgettable.
Come on, guys, we love art.
That's all I wanted. Thank you. I'm always surprised when anything pops, like, and people dress up like your character, which is, just incredibly flattering. But we have an insanely good audience and fans of the show. And I know I don't want to sound like I'm pandering, but it's true. Other shows don't get the fans that we have, and their loyalty. So we've been very, very lucky. First 6 seasons to have that.
Kristen, you appeared early on, but you became a regular later, so is it kind of cool for you to kind of see the show from the inside, but also from the outside, and kind of know that you were getting into something that was this beloved?
Oh yeah, it was a thrill. I did not expect the guy to come back to do more stuff, so that was a really exciting phase time during the pandemic that I got from Paul. It was, and also, you were saying like shooting documentary style I had never done, so I felt like I had to learn it really fast. And one of the notes I think I got the most is don't forget the cameras are there. Because as an actor, that's the one thing you are supposed to forget. So that was hard, but also thank you for watching. And I think that this show is really creative and it sparks creative people, and that's all you.
All right, I think it's time for some audience questions. It's very dark from where we're sitting, but I know out there in the ether, I think there might be some audience questions, or you might be lining up. While they're getting those people ready, I will ask, did anyone have, whether on behind the scenes or on camera, any sort of like wish list or something that you knew you wanted to accomplish in this final season for your character, or just like finally get to tackle Paul behind the scenes?
Beat Paul at pickleball. That was one thing that I had on my agenda.
Pickleball also, that hasn't happened yet, but there's some time.
All they talked about.
I think a lot of the guest stars, getting some of the guest stars this season, Mike O'Brien, Bill Cosby. We have really good.
We have to keep that one a secret until we leave this. Oh wow, it's gonna be a big season. All right, do we have?
I've got some to it. I don't know. Do you know the guy on YouTube, the Australian guy that get your hands off me, get your hands off my penis? I managed to get that line in.
That was sweet.
That is wonderful. Nandor, did you have anything you wanted to do in the final season that you got to? Wow. Oh, thank you. That's awesome. All right. We're going to go to the first question over here.
Hi, my name is Yvette. First, a quick thank you so much to Taika and Jermaine for bringing this amazing idea. I'm so sad to see the series end. But my question's for the cast. Is there a special favorite prop that you were gifted at RAP or are willing to admit you stole?
So that scene that you saw where I was in the library with Guillermo and Jerry, behind us is a portrait of Paul Rubin. And they were tearing the set down the minute Kyle called cut. They were so I said, can I have that?
Yeah. That's sweet.
Put it in the garbage. No, they weren't.
Well, I took the Model Ts from season 3. I took the Jalopnias, yeah.
He really did.
I really did.
Hard across country. Nobody understands why he wants this old broken down car.
They're not broken down, they work, and they're classics, and they're from 1915, and it's a really good move to take them. They're not just sitting in my garage now, leaking all over and destroying my property. Yeah, proud of that one.
Matt, Mark, anything go home with you? We know Nandor got. That's a good one. Anything go home with you, gentlemen? No?
No. I might mention mine a bit later on. If possible.
All right. And Mark?
I took all the baby Colin prosthetic. I've been creeping out my wife with them.
That is a weird explanation for people who don't watch the show. Thanks. Next question.
I'd like to know what would you miss or not miss about filming in Toronto?
When we went to Toronto, the people, the skilled people up there, the stunt people, the special effects people, the prop people, our production designer, which is nominated for an Emmy, were just fantastic. I loved it. And and other than that, it was just cold all the time.
It's like filming in Los Angeles, but without all the stuff.
Yeah, without the weather, without the sun.
I love Toronto. I love the CN Tower. I like the Ripley's Aquarium. I love so much about the beaches neighborhood. I lived there with my daughter and my husband for a few months. It's so gorgeous and the people are lovely.
Just a little bit.
I can't really move there. It's really hard now when you guys are tough on Americans.
I'll miss the record shops, the vinyl. Great for that. I got a load of stuff. I mean, and I said this on my 50th, it's a Canadian show in so many ways, like every aspect, you know. So we can't ever kind of forget that, you know. But it's cold as fuck, it really is. That I will forget. I'll try to forget.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi. I was wondering how you feel this show compares to the original film, What We Do in the Shadows, or what are the differences between the movie and the show that you appreciate?
I think the pace of the show is very different. You know, I think the jokes per minute is really like at an all-time high on the show. That's what I really like, you know. Yeah, I think the show, you go back and you watch it, because I was a fan of the show, or a fan of the movie before I got on the show, and I think when you compare the two, you can just see the original idea that moves slow and methodical, and how over the years of being a sitcom and finding its voice as a sitcom and taking on a different pace, and just I don't know, it just moved so fast, and I think the show got better the faster it moved, because with the edit style and everything, we're just able to cram so much in. There's so many jokes in every episode, it's unreal.
There's a much bigger budget than that movie was filmed with. Hardly anyone.
Part of that is also knowing that our fans and people who like the show can keep up. You know what I mean? That we don't have to slow down to let them know, because you guys will notice little things, little jokes we just put in for ourselves, basically. So we're able to go as fast as we want because we know we have the smartest viewers.
I have to follow that up by asking, might we see the movie characters one last time in this season?
We'll see a lot of surprises this season.
All right, fair enough. Next question, please. Thank you.
Hi, I know that this is out of character for the actors, but if your characters went to therapy and you were their therapist, what advice would you give them?
I think Laszlo would just have sex with his therapist. Absolutely interested in it. That's pretty cool.
And I would probably tell the guy to find a new friend group and to love herself a little more.
Underappreciated.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I wouldn't have a chance against Kyle. I mean, I'd be gone in 5 minutes.
Nandor, what would you say to yourself?
That's a really interesting question.
Thank you for your question. Next question.
Hello. My question is, out of all the vampires and everyone, how is it Nandor that figured out the reason that Guillermo couldn't be a vampire? Or that the reason he stopped?
That is a good question. Well, why am I the one who has to try to answer this? I think it was because, I think dramatically it was because everyone,
Well, doesn't Nandor has a special bond with Guillermo. Nandor knows Guillermo better than any of the other vampires do. So, or Kayvan, Nandor.
I don't know who's who.
How come you knew Nandor? How come you knew that Guillermo couldn't be a vampire?
That I don't know. What I do know is that the hat you're wearing would make a very nice gift for a guy named Steve.
Oh, that is a really cool hat, yeah.
Thank you. Next question, please.
I just want to say thank you so much for everything you've done to contribute to the show. And this is actually directed to Matt. I think you're a brilliant musician, and Laszlo's a Renaissance man. So are we going to get any new Laszlo songs this season?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a episode theme tune sort of mashup, isn't it?
Oh yeah, so you'll hear Matt sing a way you've never heard before.
That's true. How do you like it?
All right, I've been given the last question prompt, so there you go.
Hi. So I really love all the vampires, but in particular Colin and the use of him running for office. So I'm wondering which activity each panelist would most like to send Colin on.
Sorry.
Activity or errand. Where would you like to apply Colin other than running for office or middle management?
Do you think, is it like, where would he be best suited, or just to annoy him?
Yeah,
That's a door. I mean, to our mansion. To stand on the other side of the door, waiting to let people in, or not.
As long as he's on the other side of the door.
As long as he's on the other side of the door, all day, all night.
I think he'd be a pretty good Uber driver.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we explored that a little, I think, this season. I would have loved to have seen him in community theater. But yeah, we just never got there. Politics was pretty good.
I think he'd be a pretty good, like, jail guard.
Very good.
Different show there.
What's going on with the nose?
Have you transformed, Nandor?
Arms is too long.
Yeah, what's going on with the dog toy? Is there whipped cream on the nose? Like, what's going on? A napkin? A Kleenex? What's happening?
I think we're supposed to interpret that as his answer for Colin Robinson. Well, guys, thank you very much. I want to thank the panelists. I want to thank Nandor, send our love to Kayvan. And October 21st, when we do In the Shadows, the 6th and final season premieres. Thanks all for coming out.
Hope you enjoyed today in Hall H. We ask that you clear the room as quickly as possible. Thank you again for spending your day here, and we hope you enjoyed it. And hope to see all of you tomorrow, and maybe some of you later tonight. All right, thank you so much.
Let's be honest, I'm 5'4".
Faces, get together. Step back. Everybody get together. There we go.
Who are these guys?
Hi!
How did they get to be in the special area?
You guys look fantastic.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you. Oh my God, the naughty dog.
Friendship has been formed. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Don't forget your t-shirt.
Oh, we get? Oh. Why am I talking to her like she's a baby? Bye, baby.
Very sleepy. I got to put it back to bed.
Thank you.